No dancing this time?
No dancing this time, I promise.
I loved the different outfits she wore each day, which inspired me to dress nicer going to school. I love her sense of style. She always said she liked mine, but I never got to tell her how much I loved hers. Aw, that's cute.
10 to 10, down to earth. You can tell her anything without judgment. Oh.
I think that should have been 10 out of 10, but you know.
Oh, 10 out of 10. Hey, no judgment here.
All right, I'm going to say this once and for all. Mr. Lucky is more a tall person. More than a tall person.
There is a large cardboard cutout of a basketball player in his room that was introduced during my freshman year. The first time I walked into class and saw it unexpectedly, I almost jumped out of my skin and have been able to laugh about that every time I have seen it since. A cutout of a basketball player. My hope is that you realize that that basketball player is Michael Jordan. If not, then that is a shot at my childhood here. But I'm glad that you're able to laugh about it now.
He likes Legos, true, and he knows yogurt prices. Yes, I absolutely do. Yogurt is 32 cents at Aldi right now.
Also, he is from Gary, Indiana. Oh, and side note, he's from Gary, Indiana. That is true. I am from Gary, Indiana. The armpit of America, if you will.
The intense love of history he has is very evident, from his favorite movies to a long-standing dream of standing in a World War II foxhole. Which I did realize this year when I was in Europe for Winterim, crouched down in a foxhole, and I took the dirt, or another student took dirt from the foxhole, and then I got some of it from him. So it's in my classroom, dirt from a foxhole.
Gwat was the best with you. Also, thanks for braiding my hair and listening to me when I'm having a bad day. Love you, Mrs. Bovin. Aw.
She seems to know all the gossip about relationships. Das knows more about my relationships with girls than I know, from Alex K. That's actually true. I know a lot about Alex's relationships.
She is super organized. It's a good thing because I wasn't totally sure what to do with the first couple days of class. I consider myself organized, but she is on a totally different level. Yeah, most organized in the yearbook. I've earned it. I'll take it proudly.
Right. Karsten had a big American flag in his classroom in the front, and then a small Canadian flag in the back by his desk. Like, don't do your own country like that, LOL. Well, I guess once I joined this great nation, I felt like I had to step up, perhaps. I don't know.
I remember how she would occasionally geek out about a Studio Ghibli film or such, and it would make me smile so big. I also just truly am appreciative of her dedication to her work and her dedication to not letting her students fail. Oh, I do like to geek out about Studio Ghibli.
I've met several adults who knew him when they were younger, and every one of them has told me that Tuit is likely one of the smartest people I will ever meet. He also homebrews, which is really cool. I've always wanted to ask him to have a beer, even if I have to wait till I'm 21. People are very kind. And yes, I do homebrew, although I don't always talk about that. But yeah, I kind of have a standing invitation for students when they're 21. If they're students who actually still want to see a high school teacher of theirs, to come back and have a beer.
TBD is always funny in class. He has a Best Teacher of the Month award for his classroom, which is himself every month. Of course it is, because I'm the best teacher in my classroom every month.
Are you recording already?
I am recording already, yes.
We are more productive in online class than in classroom class. There's some truth to that. That's fair.
One time I replaced all his Teacher of the Month pictures with my senior pictures, and he didn't realize for weeks. When he did, he put them on the trash can. Is that Brenna?
Yeah.
I remember one AP computer science class, Mr. Staper created a whole web of his past relationships on the board, which I believe took the whole 80-minute period. It was another hilarious and fun day, which was not uncommon, having him as our teacher. I didn't know anything about computer science going into that class, but it was very interesting and enjoyable 2 semesters that I always fondly look back on. That's sweet.
This is from Katie Winkle. He let me play Greedy Pig multiple times in class. Forever love him for that. You bet, Katie, no problem. I thought of that great game on my own and found it on the internet. And so, wait a second, no, Zitza gave me that game.
He goes on random tangents. It's even better because he's a math teacher. They aren't random. They're well thought out tangents.
Remember in small group when I tried to make a cool ornament and spun a line of paint on the old sheet? That didn't go as planned. I also love all of our awkward small groups. They are beautiful in their own special way. This is very true.
I love the YouTube Tuesdays and Comedy Thursdays. Music appreciation days are great too. They always make me smile. What about the pre-calc days? There are pre-calc days.
She takes no crap. I appreciate that. Thank you. I try to be tough, even though I'm really not very tough.
I was in a focus time once where he was throwing licorice at students, and when a girl in a Hope sweatshirt asked for one, he said, "Not in that sweatshirt." At which point he went to his cupboard, got another sweatshirt for her, and then gave her the licorice. That was a funny moment. I wouldn't do something like that. Miss Ricketts went to Hope, you know.
Mr. Kuiper is so funny, and I don't mean a punny type of funny. I mean, sure, he's got that dad humor, but what truly makes him so funny is his natural charisma. Oftentimes, teaching a core class can seem monotonous, but every day I had Mr. Kuiper was an absolute joy. He is a caring teacher that genuinely wants the best for his students. Very admirable. Wow. My guess is that this student currently has me right now and is fitting to get an A. But thank you to whoever that was. That is very, very kind of you.
Maybe my favorite memory is when we were talking about the law of diminishing marginal utility. Classic. All right. Oh, I love this. Is great. And Mr. Lucky illustrated it with his burgers from McDonald's. When you're super hungry, the first burger is amazing. The second burger is good. The third burger is all right. And then by the time you get to the fourth burger, you're like, I am morbidly obese. And I am full of grease. I don't know why, but I found this hilarious, and it has been repeated almost more than any other quote. That's great. I love that one actually stuck. I always question if that joke is going to land with kids.
Mrs. Davis is so incredibly witty and informed that every day I had in her class was an absolute joy. Oh, I'm not that witty. I'm really not. Oh, thank you, though. Oh, that's really nice of him to say.
Mr. Brower is such an understanding teacher. I had him last year for A-Push, and I think that was one of the most challenging courses I've ever taken. But I do have to say, Mr. Brower made every class very engaging and also funny. I loved all of his singing. He should be on American Idol.
I love how he pushes his students to think more deeply or challenge themselves. He doesn't just take a student's first answer, but pushes them to ask the next question and go farther with it. Oh, I like that. And they even used farther instead of further. That's nice, although it's incorrect.
I absolutely adore Ms. Doss. I think my favorite thing about her is just how understanding and funny she is. I think many times students will take her patience for granted, but she is so kind-hearted and witty that I know I'll remember her as a favorite teacher after I graduate. Oh my gosh, that's actually really sweet. All of these are really sweet. This makes me miss them more.
Zora has a really deep investment in and care for all her students that is obvious. She cares deeply about everyone who comes through her door, and it's really meaningful for the students to see. These are so nice. This is my new favorite thing.
Mr. Warners is one of the most kind-hearted teachers I've ever met. At first, when I walked into class the first day of pre-calc, I was very intimidated by him and assumed he would be super strict and unapproachable. Boy, was I wrong. Mr. Warners is so genuinely kind to every single one of his students and does an amazing job at making his classroom inviting for everyone. Plus, he is absolutely hilarious. I always look back at pre-calc fondly with memories of Mr. Warners telling funny stories, wearing his hard hat around, and of course, listening Friday by Rebecca Black every Friday. That's very nice, whoever wrote that. And anytime you want, you can come back on Friday and listen to Rebecca Black. So I'm thinking Mr. Zietzi should probably play that at some point during this day.